rep my, I rep my, I rep my, yeah.
Mixed answer on that. So overall, yes, he does much better when he is on a regular routine. And thank you. So like for getting up at about the same time every day and having the same routine to get up and get ready to get out the door, and nighttime routine, taking medicine, taking shower, getting ready for bed, same thing in the morning, getting up, brush your chair, brush your teeth, put your clothes on, make your bed, um, take your medicine, get your backpack, are you hungry? Do you want to take food for lunch or do you want school lunch? That type of thing. Um, and then, he leaves at the same time every day. But at the same time, it's like after school, once, if we've got to go to the store, it's not a huge problem if it's all of a sudden like, oh no, we need to run to the grocery store, so he's easily able to do that for the most part. So, yes, he's able to just like go run some errands and things like that, but he's also, for the most part, we try to keep him on a regular routine so that he functions better. If you have sporadic bedtimes and everything, then he starts having more, difficulty with being on track and on task and everything, or he doesn't really sleep very well. So
Right.
his sleep routine has never been specific, but it's downtime, it's quiet time, it's you remove the stimulus, screen time shuts off at the same time every day so that you have that, decompression time. And we have the night lights and the little fidgets for the self-stimming and everything, because that's you can't make them just do nothing, but
Right.
it's turning off all the screens and okay, we're going to be quiet. I understand you're not necessarily going to sleep, but you're going to lay in the bed and relax.
Hey, Chloe, good to have you.
Hey, lady.
How are you?
Oh, I'm wonderful. I'm so happy to be here with you.
Oh,
I am
great.
so sad when I listen to all of that over again. That is so awful the way that they act.
Yeah, it is really sad. Like, just going back through it, I just kind of picked up on, just new things that I haven't talked about yet. And I kind of wanted to kind of incorporate it in here since I kind of forgot that they had even talked about some of these things.
It's crazy going back over that and the way you put it together, like all of like how they down him on so many things, like his diet, like the things he preferred. I mean, I would be proud of my child. I was proud of my child when my child wanted Brussels sprouts or wanted to eat healthy food.
Me too.
I wanted to feed my child all the time. That's what you do as a mom.
Exactly. Well, my daughter was really hard, like with vegetables. She was definitely like a meat and potatoes girl. And so I'd have to always sneak vegetables
Well,
in.
mine watched YouTube videos on kids, what they liked and didn't like. And so they wanted to try Brussels sprouts one day. And I was like, okay. So I looked up a recipe, found a way I thought a kid would like them, made them. And she gave me a thumbs up. And that was her favorite besides broccoli after that. So I was just proud that my kid was eating a green vegetable.
Greens are so good, right? Like, those are the healthiest ones, in my opinion.
If your child is literally eating those and not pizza and chicken nuggets every meal, you should be proud.
Exactly. Pizza and chicken nuggets is like, well, even Seth said just now that Sebastian loves his cheese pizza. Just plain cheese.
Hey, that's my child every day, all day long. Okay.
Yes, that's how I was when I was a kid too. I only wanted cheese. That's it.
I have one thing that needs to be said.
Hey, lady, this is Lost in Translation. And I was just saying, my son, who also is on the spectrum, anytime he wanted to eat something, I would go and buy whatever he wanted. And I was just happy that he was eating. I mean, whatever he wanted, I'd support him, as long as he was eating and growing. So,
Did he have like a sensory issue, like with certain foods?
Certain foods, certain texture. He'd be like, spicy this, spicy that. I'm like, whatever you want, I'll buy. I stocked up on it. As soon as I stock up on it, though, he'd switch on me. So I'd be stuck with a lot of groceries. But it didn't matter because I did whatever my kid needed, because that's what a parent does.
That's right. That's what a good dad does. I love having your perspective. Thank you.
Yeah, Phoenix is sitting here with me. So being that he has experience here he wanted to interject a little, so I hope you don't mind.
No, I love that because, I mean, I always think, especially, from the mom's perspective, obviously, because I'm a mom, but then dads, in this case, I've really, gotten more feeling of connection with the dad in this story. You know what I mean? In Sebastian's story.
Seth would say the same thing. I'm sure Seth, I saw he was in chat. I'm sure Seth would say the exact same thing, right?
Yeah, well, he said that he did ask Sebastian to let him know about things so they didn't run out, and I understand that. I felt more like it would maybe be an issue at the other household if he didn't tell them right away or something. You know what I mean? I just kind of made that connection today, and I don't know if it's because I'm overanalyzing.
No, I don't think there is overanalyzing in this situation, because everything we see every time we see these interviews, I mean, it's more appalling to me, in my opinion. I don't know, but that's just my opinion.
I think that's what it is for me too. Like, because I'll just go back and watch and be like, "Oh my gosh, really?" And then, "Oh my gosh."
Hey Jude. Lost in Translation is one of my best friends here, and it's just somebody that it has experience with, a child with autism, and it's, a lot of sensory issues and whatever. So I don't think Jude is like, who was lost in translation.
No, I'm so glad. No, because I think that's awesome.
Invited
How old
somebody
is your...
that has quite insight into this, just for, the aspect of like an insight coming from a father, like Seth would have. A dad's perspective.
Yeah, dad's perspective.
Like
a dad's
Seth.
perspective,
Like
right?
Seth. Yes.
A single dad's perspective, actually.
Oh, see, that's fantastic. Now, how old is your kiddo?
26 now.
26 now. Okay, so wow. So you've been through the whole, age range, all the age ranges.
All the age range, everything. And he is the best son I could ever ask for. He's awesome, and he is the best. I was just saying that, my son is a blessing, and he's the best son that I could ever have, and I thank God every day for him. And we've been through a lot. We've been through ups and downs, and I learned a lot as a father to make sure that he was a happy child, happy teenager, happy adult now, who is functioning in society, has a job on his own, and he's working towards living on his own and everything. And so it's really
sad.
It's really great to see him grow.
But it's sad to hear Sebastian's story, which I shared with Lost in Translation. That's why he's here with me tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I mean, and I think it's a good comparison too. I love having, because like I said, mostly we have, moms, grandmas in here, and so I like hearing what the dads have to say, and especially like you said, a single dad, because that means that you were taking care of your son all the time, So I mean, and I think it's hard at any age, but especially, when they go out on their own. I know even for my daughter, it's like that. And she's old. She's in her 20s too. So
for any child, regardless of situation, any child goes out on their own, you worry about them. But any child that actually has any challenges whatsoever with society, you worry even more. But you're there for them regardless, because they're your children. Regardless how old they are, they're always going to be your children.
Absolutely.
Can I add something to this? Because I want to add something to this story that might add a little insight. Lost in Translation has cerebral palsy, okay? And his son is is on the spectrum. And Lost in Translation taught his son to like take what you have and make the best of it. And he is a very successful businessman, and he showed that to his kids. So I just thought it would be a good person to give insight on this, on Sebastian, because of how much we care about Sebastian.
Oh my gosh, yes. Well, and I think that it does mirror a lot of what we've heard from Seth too, like the approach, the parenting style or the parenting approach.
I just find them that. Okay. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt you, lady. I'm sorry.
No, you're okay. I just
I just
think that's a
wanted to
great approach.
explain. I just wanted to explain why I had a little backup here, because I feel like, you know, sometimes somebody with the actual experience also can help us too, you know?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And, you know, I mean, especially a father's perspective. Because like I said, we have, I think we have a good solid, like maybe 10 to 15 guys that we have in chat, you know, at any given time. But I think it's wonderful to hear a father caring so much and wanting to make sure that no matter what, your child knows that they're loved, that they're wanted, and that, you know, like you said, kind of teaching them how to navigate through the world, you know, and take life and make the best of it is so important.
Yeah, because we all have challenges, whether they're known or not.
Yes.
And I do believe that we have to like learn, you know, Lost in Translation is saying, like, he wanted his son to, you know, learn how to be functioning in society. I'm sure that's exactly what Seth was doing his whole life, but he was
Yes.
hindered from the other side of the family.
Well, and that's really kind of the way that I perceive it as well, you know, because the reason why I say that is because sometimes it just seems like so kind of mean and underhanded. Like, okay, Sebastian, you know, was growing, and we all kind of go through that, right? Where we're like, wow, we really need to wear deodorant, right? Where we weren't when we were younger. All of a sudden, it's like, wow, that's like a necessity, right? Especially when it's hot, or like when you go to school and you do PE and stuff like that. But then for, you know, Katie to turn around and say that, you know, Sebastian didn't smell very good, but then we never heard about like a bath time, you
Right.
know, at all on Sunday, right?
What? Right. Okay. So your child isn't smelling good. What, as a mother, then don't you make sure that they shower and that they have good hygiene? Isn't that your job as a mother to teach, or as a parent, regardless, like either side? I'm not saying a mother, but either side. Like, so how could she blame
Yes.
that on anyone but herself?
Well, and I don't think she has that self-awareness that makes her
She
realize that
doesn't.
that sounds bad, you know,
Yeah,
like
you're
that.
correct. You're
Yeah.
absolutely correct on that point.
Yeah,
There's
because then she like talks about the routine, but she says that like she makes him make all of these decisions in the morning. I'm interested to know what you guys have to say about that, just mom or, you know, and dad perspective, because to me, I feel like that's a lot for just an hour in the morning to be like, do you want to take her by? Do you want to, you know, make your bed, take your meds, take, you know, get your backpack, you know, all this stuff she's described. What do you
well,
all think of that?
I'll be honest. My child is on the spectrum and ADHD and a disorder, other disorder. I don't want to go into all the details, but I will
Sure.
say this, that we made lists at night, and
Hmm.
if we didn't get up at a certain time and I didn't make breakfast and like we packed lunch together, we did all these things together. If we didn't get up 2 hours before I had to leave, there would be a meltdown. And like for me, I can get up
Sure.
and like, leave the house in 30 minutes, right? But
Same
I
here.
knew what my child needed when they were growing up. Now they're 20, okay? But I also know that children, they need routines, and when they have certain, like, you know, like my child being on the spectrum, being ADHD, they needed structure and routine and
Hmm.
to rely on it. They like knew what time they were doing everything. They needed that. So, as a parent, I just don't understand why or how you just are so careless with your child as Katie was.
Well, exactly, exactly, and especially if people are complaining or something like that, like she said. But I just almost don't believe her. But then again, if she's not incorporating any type of, you know, shower routine for the
I don't
week,
believe her. I
no,
from all of the accounts that I've heard from other people, she's a much different person that she portrays herself on these interviews. I mean, you know that too as well, lady.
sure, oh, absolutely, absolutely,
And Sebastian was such a beautiful child, and like we Lost in Translation and I were watching before I came up, and like, you know how he's wearing his Vans. He looks like a skater kid. Like, he was adorable.
Oh my
What
gosh, I
about
know.
him? What about him would make them even act like that towards him? Like, it's awful that they ever downed him for anything.
For anything. I mean,
I
especially your
hate it.
parents.
It
It's
makes me
bad enough
so
school's
mad.
horrible, you know?
He looked like a straight up '90s skater kid with the, you know, he had the
Yeah.
beanie cap, he had the baggy jeans, he
It
had
was
the
cute.
Vans. I
So
mean,
cute.
I dress like that now, and I dressed like that back in the '90s. So
Yeah,
yeah.
Sebastian was a cutie. Like,
Aw.
nobody looked at him in any weird way except for the two of them.
Exactly. And even his teachers adored him.
Exactly.
His
He was
teachers adored
amazing.
him. Adored him. Just
Every account I've ever heard about Sebastian is how amazing he was and how good he was. I mean, honestly, and he was obviously very handsome. I agree with C. Taylor, Hey Jude, all of you guys.
yes.
And it really makes me upset that you would pick apart your child. Like, when I rewatched that tonight, what you showed, it just made me so angry. Like, I'm so upset. I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. I hate to do that to everybody, but I just want to put
No,
it into
no, it's
perspective,
good.
you know?
No, it's good you're showing this. That's what I'm saying. I am so proud of you for like getting up there and going back
Aw.
over all these and showing them again. So we all are getting pumped back up and like looking at this, because this is so true. Like, this is wrong. There has to be something, has to be done soon. Like, something has to be found out.
Well, absolutely, because I look at Summer's case and I think, oh my God, 4 years.
Yes, I listen. That is my fear, and you know that. You and I have talked about
Mhm.
that. It
Yes.
breaks my heart. I've been on Summer like since the beginning. We're June 15th. We're coming on 4 years. It's awful.
Well, thank you, Chloe, and thank you, NHGG too. You guys are so sweet.
Oh,
Um,
we love you. Everybody loves you, lady.
aw, aw. Well, I love you too, and I love you guys because I mean, I know that it can be daunting looking at these interviews again, but I love how it does kind of stir things up a little bit more too. Just seeing it again, you know,
I
maybe
like.
not from the whole live perspective, but just these little
Well,
clips that kind of give us an insight. You
I'll
know.
be really honest. I love to go back to the beginning and watch the beginnings, right? I like to go back.
Yeah.
I like to watch it over again, because the more and more I watch some of these like interviews or hear some of these statements, the more it brings out red flags to me. Going back to the beginning, Kiki, you are so right. We always have to go back, because every single time we go back to the beginning and we rewatch these interviews and we listen to all this stuff and we get the facts back again, we end up with new ideas and new theories and new opinions and theorizing on certain things, because we keep going back to them and rewatching them, and we catch more and more and more, you know? Like, I was
Right.
watching before tonight, I was watching the Dawn and Summer, Dawn Wells and Candace interview, the very first one they did, where she gives him that side eye and like all that stuff. And
Mm-hmm.
talks about the script. I watched Grandis's, interview, which was so ridiculous.
Yes.
And so I actually refreshed a little bit on Summer, although I can probably talk Summer all day.
I
But
know, I know. That's why I wanted your perspective because, like when we look at, the barrel, right, for sale, that's a still from a video where Summer was, innocently dancing in front of this barrel and someone is do
yeah,
you
for
know who was
sale. For
filming?
sale. Look,
For
you have it
sale.
circled. I just saw that you have it circled. Oh my God. Dancing in a dress. That's disgusting.
I know, and her little hair's so short, and then that was really when
Oh,
her hair was so
and
cute as a
wait
little
till it's
pixie.
shaved. And then you show the pictures of her shaved freaking bald, and it was done 3 times, because I have
Ugh.
looked over these photos. I'm a hairstylist, and the very last photo, her brothers had longer hair than her, and it was shaved to her scalp. The very last photo of her.
The little girl's head is shaved. Like, that seems like something somebody does to be like mean. You know what I mean? Like one of those, oh, you're not pretty, I'm gonna shave your head.
Oh, I got it. Let me get it.
Yeah, you have it. I know you have it. Show it.
See.
It's her
Here
with her
she
two
is.
brothers.
This is the
Her two brothers.
milk jug.
Yeah, and then there's a one at the horse
Little
pond
angel.
with her brothers. And that one, they said she wanted her hair cut like her brothers. And she's literally standing next to her brothers, and they all have longer hair than her. And her hair was shaved to the bald, like to the scalp.
Ugh.
I think that was the last photo of her at the horse pond.
Oh my gosh. I mean, and see, and that's, you know,
Hey,
if people
Jude,
just
Jude
look.
knows all this. Hey, Jude, pipe in on the. I can't see your text if you're texting, but Jude has got this down too.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah. See, that's where I got the barrel, was from Hey Jude. I didn't realize, you know, because I saw it on Dr. Phil, but they didn't show it like this on Dr. Phil, you know.
I could probably send you the video of it if you want me to, with her
Oh
dancing.
yeah.
I'll find it and send it to you later.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, because we're definitely going to talk more about Summer, and I also, of course, you know, with her anniversary coming, I really want to, you know, highlight her story, you know, and what happened.
I definitely think, especially on the anniversary, we definitely have to do like a really good, like just kind of something for the show because it's coming up.
Absolutely. I would love to have you up again, you know, and it's like, you know, I mean, in the digital age, it's a little bit different, right? So when we talk about like kids who have been abducted in the past, right? Sometimes these abductors will be like super manipulative, right? And be like, "Oh, I have a dog and I'm looking for him. I need your help." And they might snatch a kid up. But now it's like really gone digital.
Yeah, or it could be like Don and Candace, and they have 20 dogs, and all of a sudden they just went on vacation for the day. You know.
Exactly.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
No, you're
I'm
right
being
though.
sarcastic. I'm being sarcastic.
Well,
I
it's
so
okay
apologize.
because, girl, I mean, it's very odd. I mean, we see these, you know, because I've exhausted a lot of different theories, I think,
Well,
and
I mean, like
you
Chris
know,
McDonough when he showed up there. I mean, I said that in chat earlier, but like you brought that up. I am so thankful to Chris McDonough for doing the interviews he did, and showing the dungeon, and when he got into the dungeon, and he said, "Oh, now I understand Summer more," and Candace didn't even understand it, right?
right.
And he really truly showed what Summer was living in, you know?
Oh, absolutely.
So
And
I will,
she
and then
didn't
the
notice.
Brandis
You're right.
interview where she talks about the script, Candace talks about the script. Like, I mean, come on, we can just go on. Oh, Dobbs, Dobbs, Dobbs. Oh boy, my opinion. Okay, Sasha, I hear ya. I see ya. Well, we also know about the parties that were having had at their house and all of the other things. I mean, we can go into this a lot, but I don't want to take away from Sebastian because I love Sebastian, and I know that's what you're here for. We can
No,
totally do a
I
show.
love that you know so much, you know, and I love that all of the people in chat have such a wealth of knowledge on Summer too, because like I said, I only really was more of a mainstreamer when it came to Summer's case.
I think Hey Jude and I actually probably came to YouTube because of Summer. Hey Jude can tell you that. I'm not sure, but I know that I came because I was watching everything I could on Summer, and that's how I got involved with researching and with the
You know, I think in blended families it makes it a little bit harder because, you know, in
yeah,
Seth's case, you know, he didn't have any
agreed. Well,
control
Seth
over what
didn't
was
have
happening in the other house.
Yes, Seth was really like put out in the cold on that. From what I know, I don't. I mean, just the aspect, and I just want to discuss this: the aspect that he was made to wear pull-ups at his age at their house. That to me is just demeaning,
Well, he
degrading.
gave his stepfather gave all of his underwear to his biological father and said,
Right.
he's not wearing these at our house anymore.
Yeah. Yeah. And Seth, from what I know, um, was not that didn't happen at his house, and it didn't need to happen. So what was the problem over there? You know?
Well, he got up at the Texas Roadhouse and used the bathroom just fine that day.
Exactly. And that's what I'm saying. It was degrading and demeaning to him by
Absolutely.
Chris, in my opinion. In my opinion, I have to say that, I know.
Yes. No, I mean, and it very much was in my opinion as well. You know, I mean, it's kind of like you can't control what happens at the other person's house. But Chris was trying mighty hard, in my opinion, to control what was going on, even to the point of like, say, Sebastian was due to go to his dad's house that weekend, but sometime during the week, Sebastian was grounded at,
Yeah,
you know, the
exactly.
Proudfoot residence. But then he was telling Seth, you have to
Or what
continue.
about the neighbors that called in like CPS accounts, and about him like calling him names and like pressure washing him and stuff. I mean, that's what I was told.
Hmm.
I'm not gonna say like, it's just what I was told. But when you have multiple people that tell you that, then I think there's something there, you know. I don't, Sasha,
Yes.
agreed. All speculation. Sorry.
No,
I just
no,
said
you're
in,
fine. You're fine.
Sasha, I just said in my opinion for people I talk to. That's all.
Yeah, and I mean, it at this point, that's what we have, right? Because
Yeah.
we don't have, you know, like solid anything, and especially when it comes to who Sebastian was with last, you know, Seth will tell us different things about how he feels on things, or how things were. Just like earlier, he had come in and said, you know, look, with the food thing, you know, I was telling Sebastian to let me know too. But he also said, you know, there were certain things that Sebastian, you know, preferred. Um,
Well, my opinion is, and I'm just going to say this, and I'm sorry if anybody is offended by it, but the accounts that have been told were the same accounts by multiple people. So I truly do believe that there's truth to those accounts.
oh, absolutely. Oh, I do too. I mean, like you said, it's one thing if one person said it, but when you hear it from multiple sources,
And I did personally, so
yes,
I still truly believe it. I'm not gonna get off that, you know? And
no,
Tina Girl, I appreciate you because I think you're a really stand up person for Sebastian. I've seen that in other chats actually.
yes,
I noticed
absolutely.
that. I noticed that. So I just wanted to say that because I don't know Tina Girl, but I think you were another chat I mod today, and you had some good comments I noticed.
Yeah, we love Tina Girl. She's got the best comments, and um, you know what? Another thing I meant to bring up when we were talking about the essay factor. Uh, I was listening to another podcast, and someone brought up something really interesting that my mom used to say, and it stuck with me. And they brought it up yesterday about not making the kids kiss or hug anyone that they don't want to. You know, because kids have kind of like a set. You know, I mean, it's just like any of
They're
us. We
like
have an
animals.
intuition.
They're like animals because they have a natural intuition that hasn't been jaded yet. So you always
Yes,
trust animals and children, in my opinion.
I agree. I agree because and you know, because we grew up kind of in a different way, you know, where it was like, oh, you know, give Uncle so and so a hug and a kiss, and you know, maybe you didn't really want Uncle so and so to give you a kiss, you know.
Yes, right.
And I don't mean to just only blame that on a guy, because I know there's women that do the nasty stuff
Oh,
too and that are
absolutely.
predatory, like Candace. Do you think Candace was predatory
Oh,
towards Hunter?
yes.
I do.
Oh my gosh. I
Mm,
actually
mm,
think
mm.
that Candace is oh, I can't. Okay. Just I want to say, oh, I can't. I don't even know what to say. Candace is just and I can't respect her as a mom. I think she's not a good mom. I think she allowed things to happen to her child that shouldn't have happened.
Right.
I'm just gonna stop there. Okay.
Right. No, absolutely. I really got that vibe because I still haven't made my mind up completely whether I think Summer was maybe trafficked or maybe if uh, something had happened to her at one of those parties or something like that, or
I
that made it to where she was going to
or
tell, or maybe she
or
did
it was
tell.
elimination murder.
Yes, exactly. And
Elimination murder or traffic. Those are
or
my only two.
those are my big two right now. And so at this point, I'm still trying to figure it out. But when I saw the interaction with Hunter, I mean, Chloe,
Hey Jude, so
I did
true.
not like that at all.
No.
Mm-mm.
Lost in translation believes trafficking more than
Trafficking.
anyone else. Yeah, I flip flop on a daily or on a depending on what I see as to whether it was trafficking because of money or whether it was elimination because CPS was coming back to investigate. But they said CPS closed the case, which they did not. So we know that. Lil Rado, Grandis definitely knows what happened. Lil Rado, agree 100.
Grandis is the key, right? She was right there.
Well, what about that interview? The only one interview Grandis did before she like skipped town, okay?
Uh-huh.
She was like caught in the fact that she said, "Oh, you can't hear that door from here," and somebody slammed it, and she goes and she looks that way. I mean, there's so much. If you go back and watch those interviews, it's all in there. Yeah.
Yeah, it's all in there. It's all in there. Well, Tina Girl says, I think Summer was picked up by a predator that knew her and the family and someone who knew the area well. They would
Tina,
have to, right?
Tina girl, Tina girl. I will say, possibly picked up by someone the family knew, but due to they knew what was happening because Don was like literally in that bathtub crying. I mean, didn't we hear that from? Oh my God, what's his name? The guy that he owed money to that worked with him. Anyway, he was in the bathtub crying. He said he lost his best friend the day that Summer went missing. Like, there's a lot of things that go into that account the day Summer went missing.
Yeah, and that's a pretty big red flag in my opinion to say something like that. That guilt is kind of like seeping out, right?
Dudley, thank you, Tina girl. Dudley, that's right,
Oh,
Dudley.
Dudley the boss, or yeah.
Yeah, Dudley. He worked with Don, and Don fired him that day, and because he caught him being sad, evidently in a bathtub, and he said he looked like he lost his best friend. Well, we know what he lost.
Yeah.
I mean, in my opinion, as,
In my opinion,
YouTube,
of course.
as YouTube rules have to go, right?
Absolutely. Well, and couponing says, so glad to know other parents teaching children boundaries that were essayed abusers crossed our boundaries. Well,
I
absolutely.
absolutely. You know
Yes.
what? When a parent has been through that, that's exactly what they do. Agreed.
Well, it is. It's a protection. And then
Yep.
also,
Because we've been through it, and we're not gonna we want to protect our children from that.
most definitely. Most definitely. Yeah. Because, and you kind of learn that it's not always a good thing if an adult wants, your kid to
Yeah.
be, you're touchy feely with your kid. That's kind of
No.
a red
Yeah.
flag right there, right? That maybe we didn't see back in the day, or that wasn't like known, right?
Absolutely.
Oh, Hey Jude
There's
says,
so
in my
much more
opinion, Jody
awareness now.
Sue. Huh?
Wait. What did Hey Jude say?
She says, in my opinion, Jody Sue and Andy know too.
Oh, they totally know. Go. Hey Jude. Hey Jude knows what's up.
Hey, Jude knows what's up.
That
I
me and
mean,
Hey Jude, we got this. We've been on this case since the beginning. Just like probably all of half of your chat. We all got it.
yeah. Well, Dudley Allen. Agent,
Yep,
sorry, agent.
Dudley. Yep, that's the name.
Yep.
I knew I couldn't think of his name. Like I have to refresh myself on all this because it's been like 4 years. But like,
Yeah.
dude, it's ridiculous on the amount of crap that we've seen from those two. Let's call them sperm and egg donors, please.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and the amount of crap we've seen on them, and I mean, Dawn, on the toilet, shooting up heroin. I mean, them threatening
Oh.
Josh's life. Like, I mean, come on, they're absolute like horrible people.
Oh, yes. So two girls gone under Grandis's watch. That's a great point, Lil Redo.
No, no joke, Lil Red. Lil Red,
Mm,
let's talk about this. Your own
yes.
daughter just vanishes. Just vanishes. Nobody knows where they are. And then your granddaughter vanishes. How is that even, like, statistically wise, how is that even possible?
What are the odds, right? I mean,
Yeah, like, there are no odds for that. That's, like, unheard of.
no. Kind of like being struck by lightning twice or something,
Well,
We live in the state of Florida.
I do live in the state of Florida, and I have been struck by lightning. But okay, go ahead, lady. Go ahead, lady. Just joking.
But not twice, though.
Well, I mean, my house has been struck 3 times. I just only got struck once. But
Oh my
yeah, you're
gosh.
right. But maybe that's what's wrong with me.
It's coming for you, Chloe.
I
The
think it makes me
lightning.
special. I think it's because I'm electric.
It's because you're so
I'm waiting
electric.
for
That's right.
superpowers.
That's right.
Yeah.
My superpowers are about to grow.
That's right. Exactly. That's where you got your superpowers. That's always how it comes, right? Like a strange event, right? A cosmic
Well,
event.
when I was a kid, there was that movie Splash with
The
Tom
mermaid.
Hanks. and
Yes.
and the
Daryl
girl that worked
Hannah.
in his office, she came in with her bra on the outside of her shirt, and they were like, "Oh, don't mind her. She's been struck by lightning. She's just nuts." And I was like, so my whole life, I just was always like, since I was 19 when I got struck by lightning, I was like, well, just don't mind me.
don't don't mind me. Well, we love you here. Little Redo or Hey Jude says Little Red daughter and granddaughter, go figure. I mean,
Yeah,
putting it
no
into
joke.
perspective,
Hey,
huh?
dude, I mean, come on. There is literally no. What are the odds of that? There's none. It's
No,
a
there isn't.
statistic. It's a statistical anomaly. Exactly.
Yeah. Oh,
Thank
that
you.
is great.
Lost in
Exactly.
translation just fed me some words.
Yes, those are great. That was perfect. That was perfect because it is. And Town Chat Cafe says, yeah, when my son was born in October of 1984, I didn't allow people to touch him or kiss him. I was very protective of him. Also, when my friends' kids were in my presence, I didn't allow others to touch them. Yeah, absolutely.
Yep,
Right,
absolutely.
because you just want to protect the kids, and it's always someone. Well, it's usually speaking of statistics, it's statistically someone that you know, right? It's not really like a stranger. More so it's somebody that you know.
Lady, when I was a child, this is lost in translation. When I was
Yeah.
a child growing up with CP, my parents wouldn't let anybody touch me that wasn't a friend or family in public. And, everybody wants to touch a baby, everybody wants to see the baby, whatever. My
Hmm.
parents would never let anybody near me that wasn't a friend or family because, it was a different time, but still, they were very protective because I grew up with a disability of cerebral palsy, and it's a very mild case of cerebral palsy, but still, they're very protective, and they wouldn't let anybody touch me that wasn't a friend or family. So, and back then you were very trusting. Back in the 70s, 80s, it was a different time, and things didn't happen like they do now with trafficking and everything like that, and
Right.
as prevalent as it is now. It probably happened, but it just wasn't as prevalent. And so if you look at then versus now, my parents, I grew up in a military family, and very, very rigid, very particular, everything had to be perfect. And, but my parents, I wouldn't be where I am without my parents. So if my
Aw.
parents weren't as supportive as they were, I wouldn't be half as successful as I am now. But,
Right.
and I carried that on to my children. And I have two children that are 12 and a half months apart that are basically Irish twins. One's on the spectrum, one's not. And, they're
They're very different people.
A and B personalities. Now I got a type A daughter, got a type B son, and my son's on the spectrum, but extremely intelligent. And I think the people on the spectrum
Are
are
the most intelligent.
they're a whole new intelligence that people don't even understand. And the fact that they get frustrated is because the fact that we're not smart enough to understand their level of intelligence yet. So they're
I
trying
love
to
that.
they're
I'm
trying to
sorry.
they're trying to just tolerate us because we're not on their level of intelligence. And I think that's where it comes from. And that's living with a son and that's now 26, and he does phenomenal things, and it just blows my mind. And he has a degree in animation, and a degree in everything, and he does is just on point, 100% perfection. And my daughter as well. But it's just seeing the two so close together in age, as well as being so different in
Sure.
they grew up.
Each child needs a different,
You cater to your children's needs.
Yes.
And that's what I learned from my parents, because my parents were always there for me, no matter what I needed, no matter
Right.
how I needed it. They made it happen, and it didn't matter. It's what I needed, so that's what I did for my children. And so now I have a great relationship with my children being adults, and they're be able to function in society with no problem and be very successful. And so I think that people need to take that into account when they have children with challenges, that it's a gift. It really is a gift, because the autism spectrum, I think, seriously, is a whole new level of intelligence and
I agree.
genius that we haven't even touched yet.
Yeah. Okay. So going on with what Lost in Translation is speaking about, I have a child on the spectrum as well, and my child has a piece of art in Carnegie Hall right now. Okay, they're brilliant. They're
Oh my
brilliant
goodness.
artists. So that's where we bond, is that we know what these children can do and how special they are and how brilliant they are. And that's what's sad with Sebastian.
Amen.
That his mother did not foster that, and his mother hindered him.
Right. Well, I think it's fantastic, the idea of a person on the spectrum, because they're so intelligent, being frustrated with us because we're not there. And I love that. I do.
That a
I know
great
I
point?
laughed. I'm awkward like that, so I'm sorry.
No.
I'm sorry, lost in translation, but I was like, wow, that is the best thing I've ever heard.
When I truly believe that. I mean, I have a child on the spectrum as well, and I believe my child is the most brilliant person I've ever met. And that's what I'm saying.
Yes.
I love that he says that as well as a father, because you're right. We don't always get both sides of the spectrum. Like, this really is truly a gift. These children are gifted in their own ways, and like, that's what's sad is Sebastian's mom didn't like see that.
Right. Well, she didn't appreciate him at all, in my opinion. And I was wondering if other people picked up on that as well. I know a lot of chatters do, but I love kind of picking people's brain about that, because I understand that when a child has challenges, it's going to be more difficult than when they don't. Every person in general has challenges, in my opinion. So, you know, we all do. There's not one of us that doesn't. And, you know, but I wonder how other parents feel, because it seems to me like Sebastian was a burden. And even when the parents were asked, was Sebastian a burden, by Smiley Stories World on her podcast, they
Yes,
they did
yes.
not say anything. It was crickets. It was
Uh-uh.
straight crickets for like at least 3 or 4 seconds, and I might
I
be even being generous. And then they
I
answered.
I watched that. I watched that interview, and
Yes.
I kind of want to break it down because there was a lot there. I
Oh, that
think
was one of the best ones.
there was.
Oh yes. Oh yes.
Holly S. I hate how they shaved Summer's head too.